So
But this
what's
is
up, man?
cool,
What are you
man.
up to?
Not much,
Yeah, yeah.
we're getting ready for state. We are leaving tomorrow for the high school state tournament. I've been
Nice.
coaching with West High in Iowa City this year. My oldest son's a freshman,
Hmm.
so he won his district, and
Right
we
on.
got nine through. So
Okay.
it's gonna be a fun tournament. And for people that listen to this, our 113 pounder Diego Roberti. He's going to be someone you're going to hear name a lot of in the next probably
Really?
10 years.
You think
If he,
so?
yeah, if he doesn't pin his way through state, I'll be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, he pinned the number one kid from Joaquin Northwest in the first period at state duels.
Dang.
Yeah.
Diego Roberti.
His dad, Ricardo Roberti, is an Olympian from Venezuela. Had a 3-2 match with Doug Schwab for third at Pan Am's, lost.
Jeez.
Beat Bill Zadek the year after he won the Worlds, and
Hmm.
then he wrestled Burroughs to a tight match.
Jeez.
And then his
Big year.
mom is a two-time Olympian wrestler from Venezuela.
Really? Holy cow.
So um, you can imagine those genetics are probably, and they just have great technique, just great support system. It's just a really cool, amazing thing to have a part of Big Game and West High Wrestling in our
How
arenas.
how'd he end up in Iowa City West?
I don't know for sure how he ended up here. I think he
Yeah.
was living in Miami, and there was ties to the Diaz's from Waverly, and then he liked what was
Gotcha.
going
Okay.
on. He liked what was going on in Big Game, and wanted to be a part of Big Game. So then they ended up at Big Game, and he's been living here for the last 3 years. So
Wow.
right.
Yeah. Does it bring back some memories? You just said something like state tournament starts. Do you ever catch yourself thinking about your time, at your state tournaments and stuff and
Oh, definitely,
that experience? Yeah.
especially just because my son's freshman year. It's like
Sure.
his freshman campaign's coming to an end, and it's just yesterday I kind of had a moment about this time sitting on my porch, just got a little emotional thinking about, man, I'm already here, with my firstborn, and it's just like it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
really crazy to think, me going through the process. I remember my freshman year wondering where I was going to be later in life, and now here I'm with my oldest son. It's just
Mhm.
it's something hard to explain unless you're there with something with about your oldest man.
Really?
They can get your emotions rolling, man.
Did you think about this when you were older? You just said that you thought about it at times. Is this what you kind of thought it was going to be like?
I had no idea. Well, actually, I always wondered where I was going to be 15 years from high school, and
True.
I always wanted to be a bachelor my whole life. And here I'm married with 5 kids, and you know,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bachelor life. So,
Man, yeah. We're about to get into it. I'm sure it's going to be a fun story to tell. And um, are you so back at the beginning though? Are you from Bode? Is that where you were grew up, or
no,
did you move there?
you know, actually, before I even I started wrestling in second grade, and before then, we lived. My first memory, we're living in Pueblo, Colorado. You know,
Really?
yeah, and then we
Okay.
lived in Colorado Springs, and then both my mom and dad's family are from Iowa, so we moved
Okay.
back. My mom's from Sioux City. She went to Sioux City East, so then we ended up back in Sioux City, and we lived there for a little bit, and then we ended up finding a house in the country on the outskirts of Akron, and that's where we lived. And then in second grade, I brought a form home about little kids wrestling, and they started dropping me off at the Akron-Westfield little kids program, you know,
Really? What
twice
were
a
you
week.
what were you guys doing out in Colorado?
Oh, my parents were just being crazy,
Oh, yeah.
uh,
Okay.
living life.
Yeah.
And I barely remember. I mean, I was just young. You got to think second grade when I was in Akron. So I think I was like 7 or 8 when we moved to Colorado, and
Hmm.
life was wild back then,
Yeah.
like uh, real wild. And
Yeah.
we, it was crazy. Like, I don't know, I've never really talked about it, but we ended up in foster care for a little while out there.
Oh,
And
wow.
then, yeah, and then when we got back, we ended up moving back home and just, and then my parents started getting their lives together a little bit. And that's Iowa, back to Iowa, get our life
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, and we really didn't even start taking wrestling serious until I think it was fifth grade. Fifth grade, me and a kid, Chad Moorhead.
Oh,
We,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, he was a 5-time AAU state champ. And then, my dad would work with us, uh, once to twice a week doing privates. And just then we started going to Tulsa, going to different tournaments, traveling. And man, I remember even being older in high school, I'd come home. It'd be like midnight. I'd be coming home, and my dad would be like in the lab watching technique tapes and stuff, taking notes and trying to figure out, how do we get
Jeez.
better, and
Hmm.
and we just kept going everywhere we could to get better. And then we started going down to Massey, the Golden Eagles, down in
Yeah.
Underwood with Zach Dominguez was the primary coach for us at Freestyle and Greco. And, I had Eastside Dominguez, Jeff Rao, Dalton Jensen, Robert Kellogg rolled down there with us a lot.
Wow.
And we just go down there and grind.
How far of a drive was that for you?
It was about 2 hours one way.
Hey.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we'd pick up Robert, or either we started switching who was driving, and we'd either jump in or pick up Robert Kellogg, and twice a week.
What were you
And,
doing coming home at midnight? You said you were coming home at midnight and your dad was
oh,
in.
like when I was out partying or just out and
Oh,
about with my buddies, and I'd
yeah,
come
yeah.
home on the weekend. Curfew's 12 o'clock, on a
Yeah.
weekend, and I'd come home. My dad would be, you
Watching
know,
tape.
watching tape, doing
Yeah.
something, trying to figure out how to get us better.
Did he wrestle
He
at all?
did wrestle in high school at Dubuque Hempstead.
Okay.
Him and my uncle Mark
Okay.
Koethe, and then I don't think either one of them really had the support system, or they didn't qualify for state quite like
Hmm.
me and my cousin Justin did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you come home in second grade with this flyer and you just started wrestling? I mean, did you like it right away?
yeah, like that's
Yeah, you
just
did? Okay.
I was always like I was the type of, even before I started wrestling, I was always like thought I was a tough kid, thought I
Yeah.
could, I'm gonna fight somebody or do something stupid, and
Yeah.
because I was kind of caught up with some of the wrong kids that were older than with me out in Colorado. We'd
Yeah.
fight or do whatever. But even
Yeah.
even in high school, that's what me and my buddies we do. We'd wrestle in our in the yard or in the wrestling pool,
Yeah.
or we'd be doing something stupid and clear the bedroom out and body box. You could bare knuckle fight, but you can only hit the body type of stuff.
Wow.
No
Yeah.
face punches, and just it's always been crazy. Like one of my best friends, Eric Waterbury, growing up, dude. Every chance he got, he always trying to wrestle me. He always,
Why you?
I don't know. He just was like, well, and he was bigger too. Like he was like our 215 pounder,
Mhm.
and I'd always just beat up on him, and he's always like, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, like we were wild in
Yeah.
Akron. We'd be drinking and stuff in the weekends, and they would next thing you know, he's trying to wrestle me, or who knows. But I loved it. That's what our mentality was. You know how great football teams, they always play football together or two hand
Right.
touch, and we were just always wrestling. Us and the Sieverts and just a lot of guys on the team. We'd just be that's what wrestling on the trampoline or who knows what, fighting
Yeah.
fighting each other. You
Did you ever
know,
get hurt? Like
no,
inadvertent? No?
no,
Wow. Wow. That's surprising and impressive at the same
right.
time.
I know my buddy Joe. When he fought his brother, there's a few times we thought he was hurt, but
Yeah.
I remember one time especially. You remember the Hulk smash gloves that came out
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Yep.
they were boxing with those, and then the older brother John punched Joe in the head, and he like freaked out. I can't think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was funny. I got that one on video. Videotaped it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just funny.
Wow. Geez, yeah, that was back in, gosh, when would that have been? Like 2004.
Yeah, I think we were
Impressive you
eighth
got
grade.
that on video.
We're
Holy
eighth graders. VHS. I had
yeah.
the big
Oh,
old camcorder.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Dang. And were you always good? Were you always good at wrestling or did it take some
no,
time? No.
I would say it was when my dad, fifth grade, my dad started actually taking an interest in it and like
Okay.
helping me and we first time down to Tulsa, I went 0-2, and I still hadn't made it to the second day of the Iowa AAU state tournament. First time I made it was sixth grade to the second day,
Yeah.
and and I tell this story a lot, and I took second that year as a sixth grader, and then you remember USA Wrestling has
Yeah.
their rank used to have their rankings in the
Mhm.
magazines. And I
Yeah.
remember coming home one day, I can't remember if it was seventh or eighth grade, got off the bus and we're going through the magazine, and a guy named Chris Utash was like tied for third or 30th or honorable mention, and he was from Akron,
Mhm.
and I just remember looking at him, and then that night, I was just people talk a lot about visualization, and I just remember laying in bed and visualizing my wrestling and just thinking I want to be number one, you
Mhm.
know. And I just had this like burning fire in my stomach, and it's all I could think about was I just want to be the best. I want to be the best wrestler. I want to be that guy. And it's all I could. It just absorbed me, and I would
Mhm.
just lay in bed and think about it, and that's really that moment. I feel like after that, I just everything I did was about wrestling. All I thought about, I just indulged
Mhm.
into the technique and just everything I could to wrestle.
Did you watch anyone specific when you were like looking at technique?
Not really. It's
No.
crazy to think
Yeah.
because like I didn't care about like I just like I was so self absorbed in like my wrestling or like
Yeah.
what can I do, and back then we didn't have the information like we do
Correct.
now.
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't there, and I watched a couple Hawkeye duels. I remember we went to the Iowa Hawkeyes Cyclones duel. It was in South Sioux City one time, and me and my dad went
Really?
to that. Yeah, ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, why was it in South Sioux City at this arena?
Hmm.
And but that's like the only college thing I went to, and then the only time I went to the high school state tournament before I wrestled in it was my eighth grade year. We
Yeah.
went just to be exposed, but I don't
Hmm.
know. Me and my dad, we just had this bond. Is like we were just working to get what can I do to get better? How do I
Yeah.
get there? You know.
Yeah. Did you participate in any other sports?
I did do football through high school, but that was like my off season,
Yeah, sure.
and I did track, but we had an agreement. I had told the coach, I need to leave Tuesday, Thursday to go to wrestling practice, or I'm not
Yeah.
coming out type of deal.
Yeah.
And so that was also just fun,
Yeah.
be around my peers.
Yeah.
But I remember I turned down prom. Like they asked me to serve prom, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh, I can't. I got USA Nationals that weekend, I got wrestling,
Yeah.
and so
How did you start getting exposed to these bigger tournaments like Tulsa and USA Nationals and the you kind of start to expand your circle? Like when did that start to happen?
I was a seventh grader, and I think it was my dad just looking, how do we, like,
Mhm.
all right, we're winning these local tournaments. Now we're winning these state tournaments. Now we're winning these like tri-national tournaments. How do we go farther? Keep
Yeah.
chasing those losses type of things. I'd really
Yeah.
probably put that on to my dad, and he, I don't know how they found it back then. The internet,
Right. I was wondering, I'm like,
word of mouth.
right.
Yeah, because back then I remember you even had to write all your credentials down for seatings. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you had to send that in with your registration.
Yep.
Yeah, a
Oh,
lot of word
fun
of
time.
mouth, I think, back then.
Yeah.
And then I do remember like my dad, like we'd be down there and he was always questioning, talking to people, seeing the moves. Tech, we'd be watching like, oh, look at this guy's doing this move. This guy, how this guy's look at this, how this guy's moving through, you know.
Yeah.
So, and how do we take that back home and does it work for us type of thing?
Yeah. Did you do a lot of the traveling just you and your dad, or did you kind of load up a van, or did you have more than just yourselves going places?
A lot of times we had a little group from Akron that would go and
Hmm.
but like to Tulsa it was mostly just us and the Moorheads from Akron. Chad
Okay.
Moorhead and
Yeah.
his mom and dad and they would travel with us and that's just us.
Yeah. So
And
what'd you
then
do to
when
pass the time?
what do we do? A
Yeah.
lot like between tournaments and stuff or like
Yeah.
between
Like,
matches,
yeah.
chill, man. I think the
Yeah.
best thing a lot of times I would sleep. It's the craziest thing, but I honestly, man, I would sleep between my matches, and then my dad would wake me up 3 matches out. I can remember him sometimes even forgetting to wake me up, and they'd be calling me out to the mat, and just I
What
don't
the
know,
heck?
right? But I really think a clear mind and just no stress. That's really, I mean, in the long nowadays you hear people talk about it. Just don't
Yeah.
stress yourself out, overthink, mental fatigue type of thing.
Did you ever go through any of that?
No,
No.
no. I mean, there'd be times I'd get nervous but not overly nervous. And
Hmm.
like, especially as I got older, like toward like junior, senior year, my dad always like, I like it when you're nervous because I know you're gonna wrestle good,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So it was it
How'd you
was
deal with
fun.
that? How'd you deal with the nerves?
Self-talk, it's
Yeah.
a lot of things I talk about now is like I always had a routine. We always talk, so I don't. We talked early, like seventh, eighth grade. I call it match preparedness.
Yeah.
Like going into a match, you should have a routine that's the same, so you're always going into every match the same. Whether it's a state
Yeah.
finals, national finals. So what are you talking to yourself? What are you saying? And I'd always say, I mean, honestly, from probably about eighth grade to the end, I always said the same things, had the same little patterns,
What
I
was
just
your
tell
routine?
I would always talk to myself, be like, I'm good enough. I put in the work. This guy wants my gold medal. He wants to knock me out of this tournament. I can do this. Can't stop me, and then
Hmm.
I'd always start getting my blood moving, getting my body warmed up about 2 matches before mine when I was about in the hole or on deck, and then I always had this deal where I stepped on the mat. I had myself trained to like flip a switch as soon as I was going to go out to check in. As soon as I stepped on the mat, I was able to flip a switch. I don't know if it was adrenaline or what, and then I would go out and put my band on, turn away from the center, slap my thighs real hard, like squat, bounce, and then turn around, shake hands, and it was, you know,
Yeah.
and I had the saying, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee" in my inside my headgear.
Nice.
Yeah, and then my dad, we always had a saying, dude. He'd always be like,
Hmm.
let it fly." He'd always be
Yep.
like, "Let it fly," and we'd like slap hands and away we go.
Yeah.
You know,
I what I respect about that is like there's people who say that, but then when they get on the mat, it doesn't quite always translate. But I feel like watching you, like that was never the case. It always seemed like you were out there and you did let it fly. Like there was, I mean, I'm sure there were a couple matches where they were low scoring, but I feel like every time somebody watched you, it was like when they heard Marshall Koethe, eyes turned because they knew it was going to be a fun match. They knew you were going to
yeah,
put on a show, you know? And so I feel like sometimes people say those things, but then when they get on the mat, it's like something happens where it doesn't quite translate to that, but not for
right.
you, you know?
No, and we never, and I always question this later. Like we never had like we had a strategy and some technique and stuff, but we
Hmm.
never went out like, oh, we're gonna wrestle this kid this way, or we're gonna wrestle this kid that way. We always went out, I'm gonna wrestle my way. I'm just gonna let it go and see what I get into, and we're gonna wrestle through it. Because we always would call it like a flow chart. The wrestling, you start in shake hands, wrestle. That's the start of the flow chart. Where's it going to take you? You know,
Hmm.
you never know which way you're gonna go depending on who you're wrestling and stuff, and you just gotta know how to move through positions, etc., and just score points.
Yeah. Did you ever have that on the opposite end where like you were trying to, be the aggressor and people were trying to shut you down? They were just trying to hold on, because I'm sure after you got some accolades, people are like, all right, let me just keep this match close. Like, did you
No,
have
for
those
sure.
frustrations? Yeah. How'd you deal with
No,
that?
I mean you just keep wrestling and try and break through it,
Yeah.
adapt,
Yeah.
and then I know there were some guys they try to do different things, and it would take me a second to realize what they were doing, and then I'd be able to wrestle through it.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate that I was exposed to some good coaches that taught me some great technique, and I just was very proficient on my feet. I
Yeah.
felt that was about the best place, only place people could slow me down.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they could,
You're pretty good on top too, if I remember correctly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not a lot of
Um,
people could slow, and then there was guys that could. Like I remember Derek Lenz. I'll never like he's the biggest one I'll look at is because I tech falled him my freshman year when I wrestled him in the quarters. But
mhm.
then when I wrestled them in the semis, they came out with a great system to slow me down on top, where I couldn't get to my any of my turns and stuff, and it ended up being a 4-2 match.
Yeah.
So in 1 year, it goes from tech fall to you know. So I felt like they did a good job there. But I
Yeah.
also had a system on top where I'd go break down to I'd be looking for a bar arm, and if I can't get to my
Hmm.
bar arm, they'd be setting me up for a crossface series, crossface cradle, butcher, and if the guy
Hmm.
was actually really good, and I couldn't get to any of that, I'd be going legs. Legs was like my
Hmm.
last resort where I knew no one was getting out. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. When did
so
you start to realize like I'm good? You kind of talked about how earlier you were what in sixth grade and you saw UTEsh in the rankings. You're like, all right, I want to be the best. But when did you start to believe like winning and you were like, all right, I am the best?
um, the moment it was like a weight fell off my back because we were working so hard, we were putting in so much work. It was my first high school state title.
Yeah.
I've just felt like a weight, like I achieved I achieved something, and I felt I just remember after that match I was in the tunnel and I just felt lighter. I just even the
Yeah.
next day it just felt like something fell off my back. I achieved something, and then I just started, and then you go and I won NHSCA sophomore nationals a couple weeks later. You know, I mean I know my eighth grade year I won AAU state. I won uh I won USA Folk Style Nationals. I won USA Freestyle Nationals that same year, but
Wow.
I still didn't feel it yet. I didn't feel it yet. But I always
Mhm.
also try to knock myself down too.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
just like even after that sophomore year, my junior year in high school, I had the same spot I always trained in the wrestling room, and I hung a blank piece of white paper on the wall right next to it just to remind myself these are my accolades right now. These are my
Wow.
accolades this year. I haven't
Hmm.
achieved nothing. That's gone. That was last year. You know, so and my name was also right there on the wall, second place for my freshman year. I always looked at it. I always
Yeah.
looked at it and looked at that white piece of paper just to try to keep myself. You can get better. You can get better. There's more out there. There's more
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. What happened that freshman year coming up short? Who was that against?
Uh, Austin Bayer of Nottoway Valley,
Gotcha.
and it's crazy. I always wondered about Austin because he wrestled Chris Utash from Akron the year before in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he lost in overtime.
Hmm.
And here we are, 1-1 in the third period, and there was like I don't know, 15 seconds left. And I don't know if it was fatigue or if I just had a bad movement, and he got me with a single leg right when the last like 10 seconds. He beat me 3-1.
Dang.
Yeah. And I don't know how many times, dude, I got in on a single leg on him, had it up in a treetop or up. I even had it on my shoulder at one moment, his ankle, and I could
Yeah.
not get him to fall down. That dude he would not go down for nothing. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you refocus after that? Because I mean, I know your goal is to be a four-time state champ, and now it's like you, oof. gone,
That
gone,
that
done.
moment crushed me in that at that moment at that
Yeah.
time. It's like because who doesn't go in wanting to be a four timer, and
Right.
I really had problems with that, but then it also drove me like every time I went and ran, like we lived in the country and we lived on a mile section, so I'd run to the next section and back two
Mhm.
miles. And every time I'd start getting tired, I'd be thinking Austin Bear, Austin Bear, Austin Bear.
Yes,
Think of
yeah.
that moment, and just all the time I'd be thinking if I got tired, that's who I mean, like I don't know if you remember a guy, Luke Saturn,
Yeah.
he was a great friend, motivator, and he just always, he'd like literally call me Austin Bear, be like, hey Austin, what's up? Or, you know,
Wow.
just just to make you go harder.
Right.
We trained a lot together, and especially in the summertime to get ready for freestyle and Greco. And
Yeah.
he was a great coach or training partner too for that. And so
Yeah. They're from Humboldt.
yeah,
Okay. And do they own a company out there? Are they still in Humboldt with an electrical company?
no roofing. So
Roofing.
he
Okay.
he does steel shingles, I believe, still.
Gotcha.
And he's been
Okay.
doing that forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I've seen that. I think has it been family owned for a while, basically.
Yeah, I think his
Yeah.
uncle owns like its ABC side, it's just a seamless siding or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like you said, a weight lifted off your shoulder your sophomore year. Um, was that kind of the coming out party, do you think of yourself? Like, hey, all right. I mean, I know you were good before, but to collect a state title kind of puts you on the mat, like, okay, he can get it done, you know? And then you won Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Holy cow. You were on a
Yeah.
roll.
It was in Pittsburgh actually that year. It was
What? Really?
yeah. The following year, my junior year, it was in Virginia. The first year was in Virginia Beach. And that was the
Oh, okay.
first year track was videotaping out there too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dang,
And
I didn't know it was in Pittsburgh before Virginia.
yeah. And I don't know if it was in Pittsburgh multiple years or
Right.
just that it would have been oh 06.
Yeah.
Would have been oh 06. And then oh
Was that?
07 it was
Yeah.
in Virginia Beach. And but then I just kept putting things together, And my junior year I won state, and then I went out and I took second at Virginia Beach. And then I think I kind of lost focus after that a little bit, you know. We
Which
ended
year
up
did you beat Lee Merrick?
what?
Which year did you beat Lee Merrick?
My
Did you beat him
sophomore year.
sophomore year? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That was a good match. He got me
Yeah.
there right. He almost got me right at the end. I was winning five. What was it? It had been 5-0, and then he got a reversal with a Merkel and got a 2 count and made it five. No, it's 5-1, and he got the reversal with the Merkel with the 2 count, take it into overtime. But
Dang.
again, we went neutral, and I got the takedown, and
How did you not panic there?
I was a little bit like, oh f, like what the
Yeah.
f just happened, like
Right.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But you're in the state finals. I mean, I would have tried gone for broke too,
Yeah.
and I can't remember. I think I had a cradle locked up, and he broke my lock, and he did a heck of a job keeping the arm over the shoulder, and he
Hmm.
ended up pulling it over his head and going right into a Merkel, and it was it was great on his part, great execution.
Yeah. Dang. I forgot that that's how it ended.
Yeah,
Because yeah, I mean, shoot, I mean, you're looking at 5 second state title, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in overtime, and I mean,
right. But I got up and went. I mean, it was always that's behind us.
right.
But incident like that, you gotta get up and you gotta be like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Moving forward. And I was confident with anybody on my feet.
Yeah.
Went out and took him down and
Game over.
right.
Man, what was it like standing on the podium that first time? I mean, when your coach, because was it your coach who was handing you the medal, or who
It was
handed
actually
it
my dad and
was
my
your
coach.
dad?
Yeah.
Dang. What was
No,
that
that
like
was
watching him go back and forth waiting for your turn for your medal?
that was it was a great moment. It was especially to have my dad
Right.
give me my medal, which that was like a team. It was a part. We were a team, and he helped me get there. We he put just as much work into it as I did, and
Yeah.
it was definitely a great moment, you know.
Yeah. Did you smile?
Oh yeah, it was. It was. It even almost makes me want to tear up a little bit thinking about it right now because it was
Yeah.
such a special moment for me and him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Especially for him to, put the medal over your neck. Like, yeah, that had to be just
and I remember I
awesome.
bent down to get my medal. I bent down to get my medal. He put it on me, and I gave him a hug, and I was like, "We did it. We
Yeah.
did it." I told him that's what I remember telling him. We did it, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And you were at Akron at that time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When did the transition to Twin River Valley happen?
Between my junior and senior year, we
Oh, so
moved.
you only went there 1 year. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
And
they had
just
Akron had a good team though while you were there, right?
yeah, we took we qualified for individual state my junior year, and then I think we took third. We qualified for dual state, and we took third at individual state that year, and that was back
Dang.
when duals was after the state tournament.
Did you like
So
that setup?
it was all right.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's good the way they do it now,
Yeah.
and I think it's a lot better than doing it days before.
Yeah, I
People
did not.
actually
Yeah. That was yeah.
people actually wrestle it now,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah. I
and
hear though, like dual state though is so fun because like you're there as a team and you got all bunch
yeah,
of guys and it's just like you just let her fly and
100%.
so
It was a blast this year. This was
yeah.
probably the most like West took seventh,
Hmm.
and I mean, but that was probably my favorite, my funnest experience with dual state.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was.
I thought I read, because Pin Doctors, Swafford did a thing on you and you said you thought you could beat Bosco 1 year.
That was that year that
Yeah.
my junior year. We were probably the best team to give them a run for it, and
Yeah.
we talked about getting in trouble and stuff, and all our state qualifiers were got ineligible for.
For duels?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, because
gotcha. Of
we had a little fun down at individual state, and
course.
well, we
Hey,
just took
w-
third. Everybody placed, and then there was a snowstorm, so we had to stay there an extra day, and we couldn't come back till
oh,
Monday.
I remember that year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But the crazy thing is we got back, and there's a little bit of rumor mill about us having fun in the hotel, and I remember it was like a Wednesday. I left. I went to the chiropractor, and I came back for wrestling practice, and our principal had all the other wrestlers singled out in different rooms, like interrogating them.
Jeez.
Isn't that a little extreme?
Yeah, kind of.
Like he
Because
had
you're
them
all
all.
underage too. You're all kids. So, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, like it was crazy, dude. It was crazy. And I remember him telling Joe Seaver was telling me, he's like, "We got the empty bottles, blah blah blah." Just wild. Why would you want to just? I mean, I get we shouldn't have been doing what we were doing, but at the same time, why go that hard on some?
I guess, yeah. Were you guys just drinking, I guess? I mean,
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah,
mean,
we
I
had
know it's like a no-no, but at the same time, I mean, you didn't like destroy the hotel or anything. Like,
no, and we all stayed in one room. Just had we had a few drinks and just,
okay.
but
I'll tell you what, I guarantee you were not the only group of high
I.
school kids
Oh,
that were doing
I've
that.
heard some stories, and it doesn't even compare to what we were doing.
Yeah,
Uh,
gosh. I mean, I get it, but I just, yeah.
right.
What a shame.
Yep.
And I remember back then, I mean, shoot, all you had was Iowa prep. So like I can only imagine what was being said.
I
And
don't
who
even
was,
remember.
yeah. How did you handle some of that though? Like now you're not going to duels. I mean, I know state was over and you got third, but I'm sure you were looking forward to state duels.
A little bit. A little bit. We were looking forward to it, but then they made us go down and sit in the stands and watch. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and then Akron got 63 and 0 against I-35. Ah, some of it was like, it all goes back to like, I cared, but at the same time, uh, I was out for a bigger goal myself. That's
Mhm.
why it goes back to being a little selfish, a little
Yeah.
self-absorbed, you know.
I mean, that's, I think, okay to an extent, like you have to be selfish. If you want to be great
Yeah,
at anything, you have to be selfish. Like,
right,
unfortunately, like you have to. So, and you have to be a
right.
little self-absorbed. Like you have to be confident. You have to tell yourself that you're the best. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're
I was
going to be
already
great at
looking,
anything,
yeah, and I was already looking at the next competition. I
yeah.
remember Matt McDonough came down while we were there, and he came and sat next to me, and we were chopping it up,
Yeah.
and then just getting ready for the next thing, you know.
Yeah. Did
And
you ever? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, that's what it is. It's the next. What's the next one? What's the next one? You
What
know.
was the next one?
It was probably USA Folk Style Nationals
Yeah.
or something like that. I think
Yeah. Did you ever go to Ubasa? I know that would have been a
I
haul.
didn't.
Okay.
I never did.
Okay. But yeah,
I
hey,
did
no
when.
shade at like or no shade at Keith Mass's club. Obviously, they had hammers there too. But
Oh man, we. I mean, I think Keith Massey in 2006 when we won Fargo as juniors and cadets. I think the kids out of Massey's were the
yeah,
major factor in that. You
yeah.
know.
Were you on that team that, gosh, won duels, junior duels?
I was not. I was that was like
Okay.
Morningstar, Brochelle,
Yeah. Okay. So
Matt
that was a little before you.
Fields.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was I was a cadet when they were juniors.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you guys won as a team, Junior Fargo.
yeah, 2006. We had
Nice.
Robert Kellogg took gold. Eastside Dominguez took gold. Um, one other person took gold. I don't think it was Andrew Long. Jeff Rao. Jeff Rao took
Oh,
gold,
yeah.
and I took third in that bracket with Jeff Rao.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of guys.
Gosh. What was the practice room like with those guys? I mean, were there some days where you just got your butt kicked?
Oh man, not even question, dude. That
Yeah.
was the reason to go down there was to get beat on.
Yeah.
And I could just Eastside Dominguez was probably had the strongest freaking grip,
Yeah.
especially with the gut wrench, dude. He could turn you in a high gut, hold you there, and then squeeze the life out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Uh,
something. And I don't
yeah.
know how many times those Dominguez boys, dude, the front headlock, the front head pinch. I don't know how many times. That's probably the reason I had to have my neck surgeries because Eastside
Yeah.
put me in the front head pinch so many times.
Did he ever choke you out on accident or on
No,
purpose with that front head
no.
pinch? No.
I actually got a funny story about that. Like I was down there for a camp and I was an eighth grader and the Paulson twins were down there running it
Mhm.
and they were showing a head pinch and just demonstrating it. The Paulson, I can't remember which one, but he was kind of demonstrating it on me. But he was just sitting there like saying something and he had his arm across my vein and all of a sudden I went black for like 2 seconds and then he like let go of me and like didn't even realize I passed out and it was funny, but it was just his fuck. You know how muscular they were when they were in
Right.
when in college. I'm just an eighth grader, and he's sitting there just laying his arm across my neck, and I pass out. And
Yeah.
uh,
Did you ever go to the AAU duels like Indianola and wrestle for like Iowa Black or any of them?
my eighth grade year, I did
Yeah.
I was just talking about this the other day. I couldn't remember if we took second or first to New Jersey in the finals, and you want to talk about a team with like Nate Moore, Ben Knight, TJ Moen, Jimmy Waters. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just top to bottom freaking killers, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever look around and be like, man, like I'm in my peers, like I'm in a group with really good kids, or were you looking at it like I'm better than these guys? Or a little bit
I
of
was
both?
probably looking at it like I have no idea what the I probably had no
Yeah,
idea.
true.
I just
Yeah.
thought I'm gonna go out and win. I'm gonna go wrestle, and I really had. I mean, I think that's the eighth grade years when I figured out Jimmy Waters was a six timer, and just that
Yeah.
was probably the first time I was around those level of guys where I started figuring out
Hmm.
who was who, and being up in Northwest Iowa, trapped in the black hole up
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So
Which, like It's sad to say a little bit, but yeah, like the western part and particularly the northwestern part, I don't think, I mean now because there's a little more exposure, it gets more love, but I think back then, we would see teams from Glenwood come and we'd be like, who the hell are these guys? Being from Northeast Iowa, you're like, man, I don't know any of those guys, but they were freaking tough.
Right.
Like Lewis Central and
Right.
Glenwood and I mean,
Right.
damn.
Yeah, no,
So
Southwest Iowa is, they got some knowledge. I mean, especially because you got a metropolitan down there, Council Bluffs,
true.
Omaha, and
Yeah.
it just Northwest Iowa is just a desert for wrestling.
Yeah.
You know.
But they always had some tough kids come through there, you know.
Right.
I remember recently, gosh, there was this kid. I can't believe he didn't do anything at the next level, but he was built just like a man.
Was it from
John
the Ewin?
Henrik,
Yeah,
John, right?
Henrich
John
from
Henrik. Yeah.
Akron.
Yeah. Oh
I
my
think
God,
he
he was
kind of got
scary.
plagued with some injuries once he went to
Oh, okay.
Nebraska. He
Yeah.
just kind
Gosh, he
of
looked scary. I saw him in high school and I
right,
was like, who's gonna beat that kid?
right.
So, yeah.
But he's back helping Akron,
Oh,
coaching.
really?
Yeah,
Good for him. Good for
yeah.
him.
So that's good.
Yeah. How did you, we're going to jump around just a second. How did you end up in Iowa City? What are you doing in Iowa City?
Justin, my cousin Justin Koethe was living
Mhm.
here with Elijah Sullivan, and they were working for my uncle's asphalt company. And
Mhm.
the pandemic came in 2020, and I lost my job, and then we were just kind of like, what do we do? And I was looking at moving to Omaha to be with MWC because I was taking my kids the same travel I was taking for wrestling practice from Akron to
Mhm.
Omaha
So
was,
you were in Akron at that time. You were living in
yeah,
Akron? Okay.
yeah. And then it was kind of like, which way do we go?
Yeah.
Omaha or Iowa City? And Justin was like, come, come, come. You can finally work with me. We can live by. And then so I ended up getting a job over here and we made the move. And then Justin left and went back to school at Grandview. Talks me,
Are you
yeah, he
serious?
talks me into moving, which I actually kind of talked him into it a little bit too. I was like, dude, you have an opportunity to go back, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, if I have to, I'll pick up the slack at work. I can't go back.
Mhm.
Go. And so I think that was a great opportunity for him. But
Mhm.
it's comical to think about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. So then you're living in Iowa City and are you working with Elijah Sullivan still too?
We hang out a lot. But
Okay.
I ended up. So my uncle went off to sell his company,
Okay.
and then so I branched off and started my own asphalt company.
Nice.
And
Okay.
then it turned out Elijah is gonna buy my uncle's company.
Oh, okay.
So they're still kind of in the final process of that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We talked
S-
about working together if
Yeah.
and so
What was it like moving 5 kids? Did you have 5 kids at the time when you moved?
yeah,
Ooh. How,
right.
ah, how
I
was that?
mean, it's all right. We did it once
Yeah.
before because I adopted one of my nephew, or he's my
Yeah.
son now, but he's the same age as my oldest. They're just 8 age apart. And in
Mhm.
2007, no, 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 it would have been 2014, 15. We moved to Ankeny to get. He was in foster care to adopt him, and then we got him adopted, and we lived in Bondurant till 17, and then we kind of didn't think we wanted to be there. So then we had 5 kids. They were all like 6 and under, and we moved back to Akron.
Is it 6 and under?
Yeah, because we actually had my youngest, and we got a placement of dual, my nephew in the same month. So we had a baby and got placement of another 5 year
Wow.
old at the same month, and then so it was crazy there. I give props to my wife; she's a trooper.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then we decided to move back to Akron, and I was going to coach with Haywarden with my old
Mhm.
high school coach, and just things didn't go good there. So and then we didn't want to be up there, and we
Yeah.
decided to move Iowa City. Here we are,
Yeah. What's
and it
your
was
wife do?
probably what.
What's your wife do?
She's like a teacher's para, or
Yeah.
she does that, and she is a licensed cosmetologist. But
Really?
again, she's just a trooper. She does what needs to be done to one for the kids and our schedules, and she's just the ultimate homemaker, I will say.
Yeah. 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 So then what were you gonna say? You're back in Iowa. So now you moved to Iowa City and
It was probably is when I look back at it, it's probably the best thing. I love I love the crew family over at Big Game. They're
yeah.
probably one of the most special people to me.
Yeah.
And then now going being west with Nate Moore and Kate and Proctor and Cody Pujol.
Oh,
Um,
he's there?
yeah, he's a main
Okay.
assistant. And you want to talk about the brain? If you ever talk about like Pinky and the Brain, he's
Yeah.
the freaking brain, man. The way
Who's
he can.
Pinky?
Uh, no one. No, I just. But like,
Okay.
I was just like,
Yeah.
like Pujol's the freaking mastermind when it
Really?
comes to just the way he thinks about wrestling, and he can. I've never seen somebody be able to watch a match, and let's say there's 20 points scored in a matter of 30 seconds, and he'll be able to keep track in his head who did what, and not even have to like question it. I've seen it like twice this year, and I'm sitting here like counting on my fingers, like, okay, what? And he's over here like they did this, and I'm like, oh, okay. No, and he helps the ref talk through it. It's crazy and the things he can like just know credentials and accolades and kids. He's
Hmm.
very impressive.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And you said Drew Proctor's there, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Jeez. What a staff. And now
yeah, it's
yourself, you're helping
yeah.
out. Like, my
And
gosh.
it's crazy because I don't even have to do a lot. Like it's a lot of times I'll just sit there and to watch. I mean, I don't know how long those four have been together, but it's really impressive to watch and
Hmm.
be a part of.
Yeah.
And it's something you don't like. Before I was there, I coached at Liberty, and then you'd see it, and you really didn't think like what the well, didn't think much about what they were doing. But now that
Hmm.
I see it, it's a dynamic, man.
Yeah. Was that sort of like how it was in Akron-Westfield? Maybe not to that extent, but like, I mean, again, you guys were good. I mean, there had to be some
Right.
sort of system there.
Yeah, and I got to give credit to my dad.
Yeah.
He came up with the system. He really helped develop the Sieverts. Um, me, Moorhead. I mean, he even helped David Erickson get on the podium or heavyweight. Um, and then I mean, I remember there'd be times Mark Van Ort, he'd be coming over to our house after practice and trying to figure out what do we do?
Hmm.
What kind of drills? What's this? And then that's Mark was 23 at the time, and we just gave him this whole system of this is how you develop muscle memory. This is our way of teaching our way. And these guys killed it.
Yeah.
You know,
Sievert. Gosh, why does that name ring a bell? I feel like he was involved in like a slam or not. Maybe I'm thinking of
I don't
somebody else.
know. My
Okay. Okay.
cousin
Maybe.
Justin was. I know Joe Sievert won it one year. He was a year
Okay.
younger than me. And then John Sievert was my age. I think he took third
Okay. Maybe that's how I remember
one
him.
year.
I
And then
remember.
John won nationals. Crazy story about John. Didn't even wrestle in college at Morningside his freshman
Mhm.
sophomore year. Went out his junior year. Then he wasn't gonna wrestle, and then he comes back at semester after not even being at school. Like we were partying, we were out of school having fun, living young
Yeah.
corny. And then he goes back at semester, wins a national title at 197. It's like, what are you doing?
My gosh.
Right?
Yeah. No, you're right. Justin was involved in some.
Two of them.
Yeah.
2 years in a row.
Yeah. That starts to ring a bell.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, the Sieverts. I do remember the Sieverts and they were good. And dang, Joe. Joe is the one that sticks out for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, me and him, dude, he was my practice partner.
Oh
And
yeah.
yep. And God, I beat the piss out of him a lot. It was funny because Chad Moorhead and do you remember Brody Rashore?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those two would practice together and they would be like right next to us. And there'd be times I'd be beating the shit out of Joe or whatever.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'd look over and they're just sitting there watching. They're like, oh my god. They'd be like laughing their asses off, just like watching me just beat the shit, do stupid shit. I remember there'd be times I'd like practice double legs, and I'd just see how high I could get his legs to see if I get him to touch the ceiling, or just to be just being a
Yeah.
prick to Joe because he's like my
Yeah.
little brother, you know.
Yeah.
And
Gosh, did he get pissed off or anything, or like start like did he ever like start swinging or
he just
no?
took it,
He just took it. Okay. Hey,
yeah,
props to that. Hey.
right. And I mean, but he would try and dish it right back. I mean, that was our kind of our philosophy in that room. Like,
Yeah.
I get to do something like let's say run the corner on a single leg, drive my shoulder into your Charlie horse. It might hurt like hell for me, but I get to do it right back to you. That
Mm-hmm.
was the mindset. You hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you type of deal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's just how we practice and drilled. I'm gonna
Dang.
take it because I want you to get good at it, but I am gonna do it back and you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna take it, you
Yeah.
know?
And it doesn't sound like it was out of any malicious intent or you were out to hurt anybody. It doesn't sound like it was just tough wrestling, is
Oh
what
my
call it,
gosh, yeah. Right?
Yeah. I
For
just didn't want it to
sure.
get misconstrued as you guys were just, cheap shot and bunch of dicks.
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
Um,
I
yeah.
mean, a little bit could be cheap. I remember there was times he would like drive his elbow into my shin, and
Yeah, yeah, for
and I would
sure.
sit there and run my mouth in his ear and be like, "Oh, that's all the harder you can do it. Come on, buddy, let's go." Just.
Yeah.
But that was the way we were to each other. Just
Yeah.
that's probably what made us tough too.
Right. Yeah.
So
Um, well, your junior year, that's when you ran into a little bit of trouble, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then you had to make the move to Twin River Valley, right?
I didn't have to. We just decided to.
Okay.
You know.
You well, because in that article, with Pin Doctor, you were suspended until sectional, so you didn't wrestle at all your senior year. Really,
Oh,
right?
I did until Christmas,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then
And then it was the second half.
Christmas. Yeah, Christmas made dumb choice. New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Got in some trouble. Couldn't wrestle till sectionals. So
Man, were you that's a long time to be suspended. I'm like, were you expected to get suspended farther than that? Like, did you think your season was done?
no, I didn't
Okay.
know. I
Okay.
don't know. I
I
was
was
just going,
yeah.
you know. But it was just, it was just another thing where the principal he just wanted to push the limit on everything and just it was crazy.
So you
But
were
I
at
mean, I'm
Twin
not
River,
saying
were you at
I did do wrong. I didn't I shouldn't have. I smoked some pot and failed a UA, and I shouldn't have done that.
when are
But
you getting UA'd though?
that's
I guess
cool. I was on probation because I had a paraphernalia ticket before, like
oh,
it
okay.
was
Because
like
I was okay.
right before school started.
Yeah, okay.
So
Because I was like thinking after I read that, I was like, I never got UA'd in high school. Like, is that
right.
normal?
Well, I had a paraphernalia ticket, and then my stupid self was like, "Oh, I haven't been tested yet."
Right.
Here we are on Christmas break,
Yeah. Okay.
New Year's Eve. You
Hmm.
know,
Okay. Well, then I'll share a story of mine. So I was probably, man, I was in my early 20s, probably 22 or so, 23. And I had been in trouble a lot for drinking. And, you know, and I was on probation. And so they could show up at my house. I was living at my brother's. So they could show up at any time and breathalyze you. And
mm,
I thought the same thing. I was like, man, I haven't been here. So one time, the only time went out drinking on my probation, I get a knock at the door, and I'm like, shit,
all right.
fucking hauled me to jail. Yep. So yeah, funny how they kind of know that. Weird.
And then wild.
Yeah.
What do you think? When I look back, I'm like, dude, why wouldn't they UA kids after the holiday? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like I'm just thinking, I was kind of reading your story a little bit, and I was like, huh. I did my stuff. I kind of did the same stuff just a little bit later on. I was after high school.
yeah,
When I started to really, get a drug possession charge and drinking tickets, DUI or OWI or whatever. So,
right.
um, man, yeah. But were you at Akron that first semester then?
Of what?
Of your senior year, when you
No.
got the okay, so when did the drug paraphernalia charge come in? Or the
My
the
junior year. Junior
okay,
year, right after Christmas break.
okay,
It would have been like that first week back to school after
yeah,
Christmas break or winter break.
gotcha.
And then I was done until Christmas or
Yeah,
until sectionals.
yeah.
And I was actually able to wrestle in a duel. I don't know if it was that Tuesday or before sectionals, but they forfeited to me. So my first,
What?
yeah, it was a wetsuit. Kid already beat a bunch,
Oh,
and I don't think they
yeah,
really, you know.
yeah. How'd you handle that a little bit? Because like we talked about earlier, like the only thing that was out there was Iowa preps and stuff. And I'm sure, being who you were, as credential as you were, people were like, man, what's going on? Oh, I heard this. I heard this. Like,
Ah,
do you
right.
read any of that or did you
Oh, I'm
like,
sure I did at the time. I don't really remember it affecting me too much.
yeah.
In a weird way, there were some things like Akron still won the Battle Creek Ida Grove tournament as a team without
Oh,
me.
okay. Yeah.
And it was like, for me, that was cool uh, to see them do that without me because it gave them confidence.
Yeah. True.
I remember thinking that, like, I
That's a good
remember
point.
like
That's a good
one of the
point.
kids was like, and we did it without Marshall. And it was kind of like, and I was like, see, you can do it. Like, I was kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Like you guys are good too. Like I'm not the only good kid on this team. Like I'm not like
right,
you may have been maybe the best, but
right.
you know, huh. Well, what was it like then going and did you know some of the Twin River Valley kids? Or
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, like I knew Nate Toole because I wrestled him through our youth career,
yeah.
and then
Gosh, that just had to have been awkward. Maybe not. I don't know. But like you don't know
well,
any
the
of the
thing
kids?
is I spent a lot of my time over there because of my now wife went to
Yeah.
Twin River Valley,
Oh, okay.
and she lived in Bode, or she lived in not Bode, she lived in Odison, Iowa. That was right there,
Okay.
and so I'd go visit her a lot, and then I would stay with Luke Saturn. He lived in Livermore, went to Humboldt, so. I spent a lot of my time outside of school and stuff. I remember like high
Yeah.
school football games to get over, and I'd shower up, jump in the truck, and be driving 2 hours west to see my girl and hang out with
Two
Luke.
hours?
Yeah, I'd go see her, and then hang out. I'd sleep at Luke, see her during the day, and then go back to see Luke at
Yeah.
night. You know, and we
And
train,
yeah.
and so it was kind of like you know, I was already like out of Akron
Yeah.
already. Like
Yeah.
they're like, especially during summer, like a lot of those kids I went to school with, I wouldn't see them again until school started because
Really?
I was wrestling and
Yeah.
doing stuff.
Yeah.
It was like a double life,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
because no one else was really doing that up there
Right.
as hard as I was, you know, and
Yeah. And if you had your goals, you had to, I mean,
right,
had to go places. You had to, yeah, 2 hours though. Oof. Um, so you've been with her since high school, huh?
yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, we met. Our first like official meeting would have been our freshman year, Labor Day weekend. I
Yeah.
mean, we talked on the phone a lot. My
Yeah.
my buddy John actually was at my house he was logged into MSN, and you remember this
Yeah. Yeah.
MSN chat,
Yeah.
and and he's like, oh, I forgot I'm dating this girl, blah blah blah, you know, and then we called her, and then he left, and I called her back, and then we just talked on the phone like every day. We just talked on the phone every night, and then come Labor Day, we like there's like even through high school, I bet there's very few nights we didn't talk on the phone just about life and wrestling.
Yeah.
So
Dang. So you were with her from what, freshman year?
on and off, on and
Wow.
off.
So was
You
she
know,
upset when you didn't go to prom that one year? Remember you didn't ask you
oh,
didn't
that
go
was
to
my
prom.
sophomore year. I would have been a server.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Dang. You've been with her a long time. Good
Yeah, I
for
mean
you guys.
we've been married since 2010.
Wow. She got married
Yeah.
almost right out of high school. Well, a couple years, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
What is that? Hold on, math. 16
I'm
years.
Yep, we're coming up on 16 years in
Wow.
April.
Did you do anything for 15 years?
No, because I was in the hospital. I mean, I had a bunch of health issues last year. My
Gotcha.
April, my appendix ruptured
Ooh,
and I had to spend a week in the hospital, and then I had to spend another 2 weeks. They put a PICC line in me, and I had to do IV antibiotics for a total of 3 weeks. So,
geez, for the appendix?
yeah,
Holy shit.
because I came back with some bacteria that was all penicillin resistant.
Mm,
So, yeah,
jeez.
right. And then I just had my neck fused in September.
Yeah. How's that going? I feel
Good.
like that could be an iffy situation. Like it can go good or bad.
I feel 100 times better than I did
Excellent.
before.
Excellent.
It was,
Yeah.
I couldn't even get out of bed before
How'd you
without
go to
painkiller.
work?
Uh, I was doped up all summer just to,
Yeah.
and then it got to a point where I was losing hot and cold sensation in my arm and
Wow.
I was starting to lose dexterity. Like if it was so bad, like if I ran on a pain medicine, I had to lay in my room, TV off, lights off, and I would be messaging the doctors on like my chart and just
Jeez.
and trying and just lay there. And sometimes they couldn't get it to me quick enough, so I'd be in urgent care getting like a Toradol shot or something just to be able to get through the night.
What happened?
I'm not even sure. Like me and Ricardo were showing some technique one Sunday night, and nothing crazy. It was weird. Like, and then the next morning I woke up and I had like this pinching, tingling. I felt like a heart attack, a pinching in my left armpit and tingling going down my arm. And I went to work. I was mowing grass just to kind of stay busy for Carews, and I couldn't even put my arm on the armrest of the door without it like shooting up my neck. And then I ended up going into the sports medicine, and they started doing stuff, did an MRI, and I had a bunch of arthritis, which I knew I had some arthritis in C6, C7 already,
Yeah.
but the nerve coming out was 100% flat on my left side. And
Oh
then
my gosh.
it was over 50 on the right side. And and then I don't know if you guys know, but I got diabetes the summer before, type 1.
Really?
And yeah, me and my oldest son. And I don't know if going so long with being undiagnosed and not have, I lost like 30 pounds. I went from like 180 to 150 pounds. And I don't
Mm,
know if the that maybe accelerated some wear and tear, or you know what I mean?
yeah. My
And
gosh.
but I finally feel like I'm on the up and up.
Yeah.
The
Geez.
last year and a half's been wild.
I bet. I mean, gosh, that
Right.
sounds borderline torture.
Right. But for our 15-year anniversary, it was I think we were in the hospital.
Wow. Dang. And she's had to be,
A trooper.
yeah.
Yeah, she has been a trooper for
Yeah.
sure.
Wow. So you probably had type 1 diabetes while you were wrestling and everything, huh?
No, like they're like me and my oldest son both got diagnosed at the same time, and they were like dumbfounded. 36
Wow.
year old healthy male, not
Right.
obese. I take care of myself, stay active, and they were just the best thing they could say was there's been viruses known to trigger type 1 diabetes.
Mm,
And I did have COVID antibodies, and
okay.
so it is what it
Huh.
is.
Yeah. How do you manage that with your son with wrestling? Like, does that impact him at all?
Uh, it's been a game a little bit. I think we're finally starting to get it somewhat dialed in. We've gotten
Yeah,
a routine of foods and the way to go about it. Some of it in the beginning was especially like last year as an eighth grader. Um, some of those first tournaments, like preseason nationals, you could tell he died in some
for
matches,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know. And then there was one match this year. he got up and he looked like he was drunk in between periods, like stumbling. And
Yeah,
it was just like, and I wasn't quick enough to think about it, but because everything happened so fast, and he ended up losing the match. But it was like, dude, we should have took injury time and gave
yeah,
him some Gatorade or something, you know. And
right.
but so we got a system and plan, and he does pretty well as long as he stays on top of it.
Yeah. Dang.
So, I mean, it would be different if he had it since 5 years old and we knew
Right.
what
Yeah.
foods do what. But we're really only 16 months and 18 months into it, maybe
Yeah.
two years. So,
And one real full aggressive wrestling season in because you're a freshman.
right,
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah. Man. Man, I bet that's just been
And then knowing like
dang.
weight management,
For sure. Yeah.
how much weight do we drop and not, because he's an undersized 44 pounder, but yet he's holding his own, dude. So
Yeah.
he even bumped
Yeah.
up to 50 and holds his
Really?
own. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, you
So
probably got to watch that extra careful. Like he probably can't cut. Even if he wanted to, going 38 might be like damn near
too
too
much.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to know because
Yeah.
unless you do it,
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, your motto, just fuck it.
right.
Who cares? We're gonna beat whoever's at what weight, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, how did you end up at Iowa State then?
Um, Kale called me. You know,
Easy
he just,
Zach.
he gave me a phone call and back then, Iowa State was number two. You had Varner,
Right.
Reeder, Fanthorpe, all those guys were there. And he called me, I think it was after the state tournament, and I was getting ready for Vegas. And I just kind of he was talking to me, and I kind of asked him if I could drive down there to train, and because I was living up by Humboldt at that point, and there really wasn't anywhere to train.
Right.
And so I would drive down there once or twice a week to train to get ready for Vegas, and then
What was in Vegas?
was it Western Regionals
Oh, okay.
back
Gotcha.
then, and then was the Senior Open at the same
Okay.
time, and
Gotcha.
then how could you not want to wrestle for Cale
I know,
Sanderson?
right? Yeah.
Back then, I mean, even now, kids is just such a Penn State. He's got such a name in Penn State, but back then he was still Cale Sanderson, the undefeated wrestler.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, pretty easy decision. Um,
Right.
I watched actually, so I remember your senior year when you wrestled Nate Herda, and I remember it being a crazy match. And I actually found it on YouTube. Did you know you can find it on YouTube?
Yep.
You can
Yeah.
find parts one and two on YouTube. And gosh, what a like unbelievable match.
Yeah.
Some guy kept standing up in the front, so I kind of lost sight a little bit, but I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. I kind of my opinion, I don't know if he escaped at the third in the at the end, but I don't
Right.
know. Anyway,
I mean,
what a
technically, I
match.
mean, if I'm on my stomach and he's in a sit out position and time runs out, is there separate? I mean,
No, no, I thought I didn't think so. I thought the
you
refs
know,
got excited, maybe caught up in the moment and jumped the gun.
I think they were playing it safe. They played the safe. Let's not, you
'Cause
know,
he was sitting out and I don't think there was any separation yet
yeah,
or loss of control
right.
at that exact moment, not in my
I
opinion.
mean, I would have to see how the rules differ from the rules today, but even if I just had an arm around his waist and he's coming around over top, I'd
Right.
be still in control,
Hmm.
today,
Yeah.
so, but I mean, they play it safe. Um, there's other things too. I mean, great job with Herda, but you go to that third period and I get a cradle locked up, and
Yeah.
they end up
Yeah.
calling
Yeah.
stalemate, which I thought was pretty quick, but at the same
How do you call a
time,
stalemate on a cradle? If you have a cradle locked up, that's a pinning combination. So how do you call?
yeah, with 15 seconds left.
Yeah.
And then, but this is something I never did ever. I looked at the clock. Why look at the clock? Why not just run the cradle over and get a couple back points?
Hmm.
I turned them multiple times with the cradle in other matches.
Yeah.
why try to hold on? Why not just get the points?
Yeah.
Like, was it a lack? Was there a fault in thinking there? I mean, there's just other. I look back and there's just some things I did in that match that I'm like, I've never done that. I never looked at the
Yeah.
clock. I never, so
I think what was most impressive though was even though that, I mean, that had to be just catastrophic almost in a sense, but then you come back and get third. As a
yeah,
senior, almost thinking like, okay, I didn't get four state titles. My next best thing is three. And then you lose in the semis the way you did. And then you come back and get third. I mean, that shows kind of the character and heart of Marshall Koethe, in my opinion.
yeah. I don't know how many times I did that in my life.
Yeah.
Lost, and didn't like. We'd go to national tournaments, and I'd be like, "Dude, I didn't come here for third." I'd be like telling my dad, fighting with him, and just take my shoes off, pack my shit up, be ready to leave.
Yeah.
And they're nowhere to be found. My parents. I'm sitting there trying to go home. Pretty
Yeah.
soon, I put my shoes back on,
And I
walk
mean,
back down. Next thing you know,
yeah.
I'm getting third. Like, damn it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, after everything that happened over that last year, you know, to lose and come back and get third, I don't know, man. It's just in that moment, I feel like showed the true Marshall Koethe, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, there's a lot of adversity there, suspension, transferring schools, all this stuff, people talking shit about you online. And now you give them fuel to the fire. You lose to Herda, and they're like, good, good, boo, good.
No, right.
And then you're like, you don't let any of that get to you, and you get third. I mean, I don't know. Something to be
Well,
said about that, I guess. I don't know. Just give you props, man.
my motto's always. I appreciate it. My motto's always been, I never quit. I always win.
Yeah.
I might have had a fault on the in the goal, losing the Herda. Is what it is. I got to keep going forward.
Yeah.
I got to keep. I never quit.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the way you are like that's what's gotten you to the point of where you're at today and even in life is like there were pockets of adversity throughout pretty much most of your life, but you've never quit. You never quit, never quit, never quit. Even when you had people wouldn't have blamed you if you quitted. Even if you like, oh, no, Kothi quit. Sure. No problem. I would have done the same thing. You just never
Nah,
did. And here you
right.
are. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever thought about that? Like how where you are today and how like you never quit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, to me, I don't know. I don't know if I've thought about it that way, but I've thought. I mean, I've always. I don't quit, and then I thank God and some of the things people He's brought me together with, and a lot of it's the wrestling community is a great community to be a part of, even if you're not Marshall Koethe or even better like a TJ
Mhm.
Siebel or the wrestling community takes care of each other and
Yeah.
and it's I've been blessed to be around some great people, especially in the Iowa City community. You
Yeah.
know,
Has there ever been a point where like you like stepped away from wrestling for an extended period of time, like you hated it? Like, man, I put all my blood, sweat, and tears into this sport and, you know, it stabbed me in the back or, you felt resentment towards the sport.
I never really felt resentment against the
Yeah.
sport, but once my wife got pregnant with my oldest,
Mhm.
um, I went to work and I bet there was a 10-year span there. I don't, not even on a wrestling mat, not even on a.
Really?
I remember the first time I watched my wrestling tapes. We were in Bondurant. I think it was 2017, and it was like that's me. That was me. I was like, because I hadn't like even been on a wrestling mat for. I stepped away for so long,
Yeah.
and it was just weird to like. But it helped. I had to watch those tapes and really bring a lot of things back, and just like because my kids were gonna start wrestling.
Mhm.
I bought a 10 by 10 mat, put it in our
Yeah.
basement, and we just started going over some things, and then you start questioning, oh wait a minute, how did we do this? How do I do this?
Yeah.
And just it's so I did step away probably for close to 10 years. Didn't even go
How
to the state tournament. Didn't even
really?
yeah, because it didn't benefit my needs at the time.
Yeah,
you
true,
know.
sure. Yeah. Did you um how did you bring your kids along being, having the credentials you have, like being a wrestling dad and someone ingrained in the sport? Like, did you kind of bring them along slowly? Did you let them just come into the sport and love it themselves? Were you kind of hands off, you know? So a lot of dads can be like hardcore, especially if they're wrestling dads, like just
All right.
oh, so
Well, in the beginning, it was like, I did some coaching. I was helping out with the youth wrestling program. And then my philosophy was kind of, I'll let them be around it,
yeah.
and then if they want to do it, we'll do it. And then in Bondurant, I just taught them some basic movements like a penetration step, like a takedown, shot defense, stand up, and a half, how to run a half. And then we just started going to tournaments, and it was kind of like, let's figure out where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they at ability wise? And we just kept adding the little things, little positional things, how to be in good position with those little bit of technique. And then we started chasing losses, you know,
Yeah, it's kind of like a
and
progression, it sounds like there a little bit.
oh, 100%. I really feel like that's how you do it. Like, to me, you can't just take a kid at 4, 5, 6 years old and go throw them into a high level club.
Yeah.
You got to start. Like, I feel like every club plays its role. Like a school based club should be a great place to get your foundation, your basics, etc. Luckily, I could do it myself. But
Mm-hmm.
then, it's like once they get there and they need more, well, let's go find a big game or let's go find and no club is ever going to be able to do it all, in my opinion.
Right.
And then you got to see where you're at competitively. Like, am I going to all the local tournaments? Am I pinning everybody in 15 seconds? Well, now I need
Mm-hmm.
to maybe find tougher tournaments. And am I
Yeah.
winning those? Well, now let's go find tougher tournaments. And it really was a hard deal for me because Esai, my second one, he was just a freak right out the gate, and he was winning everything. I mean, I had to take him to Tulsa to lose. I had to take him
Yeah.
I took him out to Monster Match, and he takes fourth. The only time he didn't place at Tulsa was last year, or I mean, the first time he didn't place was last year. And poor Owin, my oldest one now, a freshman,
Mm-hmm.
he's getting dragged along, and he's a little bit bigger with these
Yeah.
kids that are maybe a little more developed. And he's going 1 and 2, 2 and 0 and 2, 1 and 2, 0
Mm-hmm.
and 2, and it's like, what do you do,
Right.
But it's like, how do you take the one and not the other,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But at the end, it's Owen got hungry, and
Yeah.
he really like became a professor of the sport.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't win state this year, he's still very knowledgeable, and he's still got a great career ahead of him.
Yeah.
And then Eastside did end up having a rough year, I think his sixth grade year, and it was kind of hard for him to deal with, because
Yeah.
he's been winning,
Yeah.
So then it's like you got two different kids, two different growth minutes, and how
Mm-hmm.
are they going to develop? How are they going to react?
Yeah.
You
And how are
know,
you handling that as their dad, and they're at different levels. Like it seemed like at one point Esai was kind of up here confidence wise. He was winning everything. Owen was sort of not quite winning yet. And now it seems like they flip flop.
a little
Owen's now
bit.
going to district, he's winning districts, he's going to state, and Esai's sort of struggling a little bit. I mean, how do you balance that as a dad?
It's just can't motivate. Like
Yeah.
Eastside, even all the way through young Eastside, they're totally different personalities. Like Eastside, dude, you could talk him up, feed him. He just eats it up and loves it before a match.
Yeah.
You almost get him drooling. I
Hmm.
go over to Owen. I try and do the same thing, and he's like, What are you doing? Leave me alone. What? What? You
Yeah.
know? And it's tough because Owen, the whole time, I just, man, keep grinding. Just keep grinding. You're going to get
Hmm.
it. Just keep grinding. Keep grinding. And then Eastside, on the other hand, like he'd be winning, making mistakes. And he'd be like, dude, you can't do that. You got to do this, and just kind of, and then now he's having a down year, and you're just talking about decisions. See, you weren't putting in the extras. You weren't doing this. You weren't doing what the other kids are doing. Now, and they're catching
Hmm.
up. What are you going to do? What are you willing to do? What do you,
Hmm.
and, and Isai, I mean, I think he's probably better than he's ever been right now.
Really?
And
Wow. Uh-oh. That's scary.
yeah. There's I don't know. There's, Real Woods. His little
Yeah.
brother. He's got a little brother, Blessed, and he's on same age as Owen. They're both freshmen. They both qualified, but then they,
Oh, really?
but then they both have another little brother. Esai and True are the same age,
Okay.
and just be ready for when those two boys enter high school. Those two
Yeah.
boys are gonna, you know, it's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. It's gonna be fun here, and it's been good. Is it really good? I don't know how else to explain it
Yeah.
because you create the love for the sport, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And like I said, we got great coaches at Big Game with Dylan, Ty, Carew, uh, Zach Covington, Jesse Whitmere. All those guys are just amazing.
Gosh.
I mean,
And
it's
Canellis is there.
yeah. Canellis is there. I mean, Spencer Steiner's there now. And the crazy thing is, you get in a group like that, and you would expect there to be egos in the way to do things,
Hmm.
and no one is. Hey, this is the way.
Yeah.
Your way is stupid. That don't work. And next thing you know, if someone brings something up, you got two coaches rolling around right now trying to figure out what is the best way for these kids.
Yeah.
Or for this kid or that kid, or and it's just an impressive environment. You know.
Yeah. And to think like, they were some of those guys were your peers. Are your,
Yeah,
like you were wrestling with those guys and now you're coaching with them. That's got to be kind of a fun
it's a
experience.
wild
Yeah,
full circle thing,
for
even
sure.
because like Dylan Carew's dad used to wrestle my dad up in Dubuque. Like
No
like my dad
kidding.
went to Dubuque Hempstead,
Yeah.
and Jeff went to Dubuque Waller. They wrestled like 3 times in high school, and then Nate Moore's dad went to Dubuque Hempstead with my dad, and then they
Oh,
all
that's
kind of
right. They were,
spread.
yeah.
Then they all kind of spread out, and now us boys are all together.
Yeah, I forgot that the Moors lived in Dubuque for a while.
Yeah, so it's a fun little culture.
Yeah, for sure. And you've been and now you've just been a part of it, and it just sucks you in, like you took
Oh
10 years
yeah.
off, man. You think like, man, I don't know if I'll ever get back to wrestling. And it's like, of course you will. At some point you will. It just fucking sucks you back in, man.
Oh my God, right? The sport is great, and I think honestly, stepping away for a minute and helping me, I don't know, be comfortable with everything that happened.
For
Like,
sure.
I understand it. I get it. The way I was living wasn't probably the best, but yet, I didn't, no one in that area has ever dealt with someone at my level, or, in
True.
my family either, you know. And
Yeah.
so I mean, imagine if I was with Mark Ryland, a guy that
Right.
knew how to handle good athletes, that
Hmm.
knew the path.
Right. Yeah, because did your parents go to college?
No, they went to UNI, but not on athletics, you
Okay.
know.
Right. Yeah. So like the whole even just athletics at the next level and scholarships and all that
All
stuff.
right.
Yeah. It's a whole nother ball game, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, I'll let you go. Yeah, geez, it's been an hour and a half. I appreciate you doing this,
Man,
man, and
yeah, I
and chatting
appreciate you
and
reaching out.
yeah,
And
you
you know
know,
what? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my path, where I'm at now, I took a similar path. I just was a little later on in life. I kind of told you that, like, I got into some drugs, smoked weed and drank a lot and partied and got in trouble, and so I stepped away from sport. I hated wrestling for a while, and it just sort of I matured. I just matured and
Right. That's a lot of it.
stopped feeling sorry for myself and stopped thinking that everyone was out to get me and everyone was against me. And then it
Hmm.
just kind of eventually, yeah, just grew up. I just grew up essentially,
100%. And then a
matured and
lot
grew
of
up. And
things I tell my kids is like, you do those things, you're giving people power over you to take
yeah,
things away from you.